Magic is doing a good job, a damn good job. Unbelievable, I would caution you to hold your horses. And this is with Magic Johnson coming on the show next week, and I'm looking forward to seeing my brother, but I'm not going to shy away from the truth. The fact of the matter is, I love the fact that you got Kyle Kuzma and you drafted him. I love the way Brandon Ingram is looking along with Julius Randle. I love the fact that they've won 12 of their last 16 and 8 of their last 10 games, and Luke Walton seems to be really, really doing a good job. I love it. I love how Rob Pelinka and Magic Johnson seem to be working together. But Max, the reason why I would say to you, I would give Magic Johnson rather a B+ as opposed to an A. That's right. Which is why I went on LA radio, ESPN LA 710. I had to go on there and talk to your boy Marcellus last night and had to break this down to our brother. I sat up there and said, hey, I got to give Magic props. He's doing a damn good job. But great, not when your number 2 overall pick is Lonzo Ball. Not yet.
But what if they sign 2 max free agents?
What if? We're talking about right now, Molly Wood. What's today's date, Molly Wood? What's today's date?
Today's date's February 9th.
When's free agency?
July.
You said, so what I'm saying is,
2019,
what if Kuzma would have been the number 2 pick? How do you feel about that?
I would feel better. But let me say,
you got them both. Also, I want to hear who they go after.
I'm going to get into that in a second. You cannot give a guy an A grade when your number 2 overall pick is playing the way Lonzo Ball played before he went down. I believe in the kid. I'm hopeful for him or what have you. The jury is still out. And then here's the biggest point, Max, which even you can't even try to refute. How consistent would I be if I gave Magic Johnson an A grade when we haven't seen you in free agency yet? What have I specifically said about Phil Jackson all of these years? I said when you are the president of basketball operations and you are a marquee, to me, your number 1 responsibility is to show you can recruit. You can trade, you can draft. But what separates you from the rest is your ability to recruit. We sit here. We had the great Jerry West on our show as well. We can talk all the stuff. And Molly, let me tell you something. Jerry West has pulled off a lot of great trades, and he's done a lot of great things.
Greatest of all time.
But come on now. One of the reasons he's the greatest of all time was because of his ability to recruit, stealing Shaquille O'Neal like a thief in the middle of the night from Orlando. I mean, they woke up and said, man, you know, Shaq is gone. Like, how the hell did this happen? Jerry West
still haven't recovered.
And they still haven't recovered. So what I'm saying to you is, I can't sit up there and look at a Phil Jackson or look at any of these executives and hold them accountable because of the name cachet that comes with them and lament their inability to recruit. But give Magic an A. I appreciate the room you created, but to me, the real work comes in this summer or next summer. He's got to get a superstar to come to LA.
Listen, if you want to say grade incomplete because of the free agency thing, I got that.
We can do that.
If you want to knock down the A to a B+ based on the Lonzo Ball pick, I understand.
But the Lonzo and the incomplete.
Okay.
And that's where the B+ comes from.
Okay. But Lonzo is early in his rookie year. He entered the league at 19 with 1 year of college. Like, there is a whole lot of there, a whole lot. It is far from certain that Lonzo will bust. When I look at, he needs a shot. That's it. If he has a shot, he's already pretty good.
Well, let me tell you something about basketball. You don't just find a shot. I mean, if that's the case, listen, think about this for a second. You know how many brothers would get paid if they had a shot? If they could have it, Max, they would.
But
it's
shots
not something
improve.
It's not something you just develop like that.
Look, shots improve
the great
over
ones,
guys'
Jordan
careers.
And Kobe and others. But most guys that can't shoot usually stay not being able to shoot.
But it's interesting because when that was looked into, you just figure like either there's a pure shooter or there's not, right? But rebounding is something you can really work on. It turns out a nose for the ball is actually more of an innate quality than a shot. So you can work on your shot.
Let me say this. Let me put myself out on Front Street and put Magic Johnson on a little blast here along with Lonzo, along with Max Kellerman. Look, I have a right to look at who else was out there. So if you pick somebody...
Markelle Fultz?
Come on.
You wanted Fultz?
No, hell no. So if you pick somebody with the number 2 pick, I got to think about Jason Tatum at number 3.
Right.
I got to think of Markkanen at number 7. I got to think of Dennis Smith Jr. at number 9. I got to think of Malik Monk at number 11. I got to think about Donovan Mitchell out of Utah at number 14. I got to think about it. And I got to think about De'Aaron Fox in Sacramento at number 5, who dropped 39 on Lonzo Ball just a couple of months earlier in the NCAA tournament. All I'm saying to you is this. One would argue, understandably so, but must still make the argument, Magic Johnson wasn't just a basketball man, he was a businessman. And Lonzo, they was under such immense pressure to pick the Chino Hills product that started UCLA.
You think he really gave into that?
I think so.
You know what I think he gave into?
I think so.
I see it very differently.
I think so. And I'm not saying that Lonzo's going to be a bust.
Gave into. You make a lot of good points. I'll give it to you when you make good points. There's a lot of good points. All those other guys you named, there were arguments to select them ahead of Lonzo. In fact, I argued for Markkanen. Dennis Smith Jr. was clearly a greater talent, and there were others. Magic Johnson is a point guard, as I said.
Yes.
His whole thing, the reason he's magic is the sum is greater than the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. The way he shares the ball. The thing that you could anticipate about Magic Johnson, president of basketball operations, is maybe he does look at a draft and a guy like Lonzo, as opposed to guys who are more certain scorers or talents, and says, that guy can make everyone around him better.
This is what you're missing, Max. That's every point you just made is exactly why I'm holding Magic Johnson accountable. Because he is a point guard. Magic Johnson is what? Arguably the greatest point guard who ever lived.
Who's arguing?
Okay, well, I'm just saying, you know, some people look at it and say he's 6'9", he had an advantage. Look at all, so they bring up the Oscar Robertsons and others. But what I'm saying to you is this: Magic's the greatest point guard ever. So it's the fact that you picked a point guard. That point guard's got to come through for you. Listen, I know that. I know it's early, which is why I said you give him a B+. We understand that Lonzo, we hope Lonzo will be right and that he'll come along. But my point is, if Magic had picked a forward, if Magic had picked a center, if Magic had picked a shooting guard, and it didn't work, you cut him more slack. It's the fact that it's a point guard.
Real quick.
That matters.